All right, welcome everybody. This is podcast number 2, and we have a good friend of mine, Brian Weber. He's going to be our initial guest, I guess. I don't want to use the word multiple times, but um, so I met Brian randomly through the Sergeant Major's Academy. We were on the Facebook page just looking for people to work out with, and this weird guy messaged me like, "Oh yeah, man, just I'll work out with you. You can come to my garage. I got a garage gym." I'm like, "Okay." And then here we are, a year and a half later. Uh, his family, my family, are I would say we're pretty close. I mean, we've been making plans
Absolutely.
to
Yeah.
retire together and open a gym. The name of the gym is up for debate right now. Um,
Yeah.
but
Yeah. It's
uh,
funny you brought that up, man. You said we met. Oh, yeah, it's almost like it was like internet dating for gymnasts. Like gym
Yeah, 100%.
enthusiasts. If you think
Yes,
about it,
yes.
literally, that was
Of the
hilarious. Though
of the 500 people on the Facebook page, 3 of us showed up the first day.
three showed up.
Well, 2 showed up to your house. The one guy, he was
Yeah.
not prepared for what we did that morning, and he never showed up again. So maybe that should say
Bless
something
his
about
heart,
us.
man.
Yeah, maybe it should say something about us. But we seemed to get together. I mean, it obviously worked. We didn't even coordinate, but somehow we ended up wearing 2 green shirts on the same episode. So
Crazy.
we were obviously like-minded. So enough of that. We'll get to the point
Yeah.
because this is about your story. So it's all on you, Brian.
Yeah, I mean, I heard first thing. I appreciate you wanting me on, man, because like I had you on my show, and that was actually the last episode that I've had a time to edit and send out. So literally, you're the last person I distroed out, and we're gonna pick it back. But it's funny that you kind of started doing this thing, man. Like I had a feeling you were gonna do it. I just didn't know when.
So
I
you're saying I
just
killed your
how you.
podcast? I was the last one, and this never went on since then. So I killed your podcast. Thanks. That's going to be great.
No, actually, it's funny. I have 6 in the shoot ready to go. I just have to finish editing. It does take time. Like when
It
you
does.
start putting a little intricate details in. But yeah. So you talked about how we met, and it was like this physical thing we did, and you said, "Hey, man, let me have you on. Let's talk about something that's like physical that kind of changed you, whatever." And I could tell you thousands of things throughout my life. I think I told you before, like I put it in the message, like I passed out doing the confidence course at Air Assault School because I went and did it with the flu. I had 103 temperature, and I was just getting it. And I made it all the way to the very last one called the tough one. Everyone probably knows what that is. Got up that ladder and woke up in a hospital. That's where I don't remember falling, hitting my head or anything. So, but there's like so many things. I could talk about climbing Pikes Peak, but the one that's the most memorable to me, you were a part of it. You actually kind of influenced some of the stuff that took place. I had a bicycle accident a little over a year ago. It was September 26th. We were in Las Cruces area. I kept getting a flat tire. I had the front flat tire just kept, and I couldn't keep air in it. And I ran out of tires, spare tires. And you saw what happened. I hit that brake, and next thing you know, I'm over the top of my handlebars. You were right behind me, along with Austin, who you really got to have Austin on here too, because I think he'd be a great story to
Yeah, I'll have to
tell
reach
his
out to
story
him.
because he has an amazing one.
Yeah, I'll have to reach out to him as
Yeah.
well.
Um.
I mean,
Yeah, because he could tell
you
you
were
his like
going full speed on a flat tire. I mean, it really was a terrible choice on your
I was
part. I
that
mean,
fast.
oh, come on now.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Oh yeah. I hit the brake and the curve and the rocks like it's like the magic happening. I went down and it hurt, and we went out to eat and everything. And I'm like, a week later, I'm like, this really still hurts bad. And then I went to see the doc. The doc says, hey, you've got a messed up AC joint. Your labrum's torn. Your bicep, you get this thing called bicep tendinosis or something like that. Basically, it's where the bicep muscle it connects in 2 spots near the pec and then up over the shoulder in the shoulder socket. Well, that one was inflamed and it was causing inflammation. And it's supposed to sit, that tendon is supposed to sit in the knuckle, and it doesn't sit in the knuckle, it sits above the knuckle, and that's what caused it. And it's funny, before that took place, you would constantly talk to me about, oh yeah, man, ultras are great, running distance, do triathlons, all these things. And I'm like, in my brain, I'm like, that's cool for you. I got goals. I got certain goals in life. I don't want to do that. I want to do this, this, and this. I was kind of getting back to a peak of my physical fitness, because everybody had, what do we call it? COVID weight. Everybody kind of put that on. I don't know
Yeah, a
if
little
you
bit.
did, but
Yeah, some. Yeah.
yeah. But it destroyed all those plans. And I was just like, I mean, I was in the dumps. And I don't know if you noticed, you probably noticed or not. Like, there was about a week there when I almost shut myself out from everybody, because I was just like, you get in a place where depression takes over because you can't do the physical things that you want to do,
Yeah,
right?
it
You're like,
interrupted
I
your
want to get
life.
after it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And it sucks when that happens, But at the same time, it's like, I can't let this one thing just totally destroy everything. And I had to keep going. And so next thing you know, I'm on the internet because you brought up ultras. And I was like, well, shoot, excuse me, I'm going to train for that. And I signed them up. And then I talked you into signing up, which we'll get into that part
Oh, yeah.
in a little bit. But it's funny. Like, it's funny how things worked out too, because once we get to the name of the mountain and everything else, it's like, boom, wow,
Yeah.
like that's what I was supposed to accomplish.
I still don't speak that mountain's name anymore.
Well, it should be the title of the show, right?
Yeah.
Anyways, but it's like I had to find a new love, and I had to find that thing that kind of just kind of like ignited something in me again, because it's like, oh, I can't do the things I was doing before, because I was doing CrossFit a lot, or a mixture of such a thing. And it just kind of, it kind of hurt my feelings. So I had to find something else. And what I basically did, man, was I fell in love with running again. Like, I loved running back in, between the years of 2010 to about 2015. I ran my butt off, man. Like, I was doing marathons, half marathons. I was training all the time. I probably overtrained. I don't know. But I mean, I did it all the time, and I loved it. Like, it fulfilled me. And so that's what I started doing. And they're in El Paso. I'd run with you sometimes, or we'd go biking with our 5 a.m. crew, the donut ride crew.
Donut ride,
and
yeah.
Oh yeah, crush some donuts after we're done, because obviously you earn the calories.
Yeah, absolutely.
But and then we get out, you and I, we get out in the desert. We run those trails out in the desert that were just, sometimes I was like, oh my goodness, is this going to end? But at the same time, I was like, man, this is just exhilarating. We get up there behind the mountain, and the sun would come up and be like, dang, you can't beat this stuff, and it's that feeling that we get when you accomplish something. But then February came. We'd come home. I've been training for running, from basically October, November, December, January. February 1st hit. February 1st is when they did the surgery. So they opened me up pretty good. They shaved my AC joint down. They cut my bicep off up high and reattached it down low. Then they went in and they tried to clean up what the doctor had said was arthritis. And he actually called this, it's funny, you'll probably end up getting it too, or you probably have a lot of it too.
Thanks.
They call it an old soldier's injury.
Oh, great.
Because we wear rucks, we punch forward, we do all this stuff. And, our shoulders, we wear our shoulders out.
Yeah.
I never realized how much, so they cleaned all that up. And then I'm sitting on my couch, man, and I can send you a picture if you want to pop it up of me sitting on the couch with that daggone black arm, that brace where my arm is just pinned to me, and I'm not doing anything. And I thought to myself, like, how am I going to try? It's February. I got March, April, May. I'm not allowed to get off the couch, or I'm not allowed to get up and do stuff for at least 6 weeks. And I'm like, this is going to suck. Like, I've already paid for this race. You've already paid for this race. I'm like, I can't let you down. I can't let myself down. And I'm like, dang, man, this is, I got 6 weeks. I'm not allowed to run. I may have broke that a little bit. Who
Maybe
knows?
a
I don't
little.
know yet.
Yeah.
We're not gonna,
We
maybe a
won't
little
tell the
bit,
doctor.
but
He's not listening.
I did, I didn't run. I have a Peloton. So I got on my wife's Peloton, and I rode, and I just kind of trying to keep my legs going. And dude, I'm gonna tell you, man, like when you're down, that's the that's when you feel like you're the worst. But the crazy thing is, it's like your thoughts of what you can do when you get better, and that's the constant motivation. It's like, okay, when I'm better, I'm gonna be able to do this, and then when I'm better, I'm gonna add this to it, and then when I get a little bit better at that, I'm gonna add this to it. And I think, like, no shit. And I mean, Justin, this is, I think if you think about it, like I saw this old man the other day, older feller. He looked about 80 years old in the gym. This guy got on a stair stepper and he started doing stair climbing, like 15 minutes straight, man. And I was just like, I'm right behind him. I'm on a treadmill and I'm like, I can't stop on this treadmill right now. There's no way. If I stop and that guy keeps going, it just tells me like he's my motivation. He's my motivation to go, keep going no matter what, even though I didn't want to run anymore. But
Yeah.
I think it's like those things, man. We find those like that inner will, of what what makes us whole again. And so jumping forward, you and I, we did some more training here and there, and it was probably what I'd say April when I actually got to train, like
Yeah.
literally like April 1st
I think like the
to
middle
May
of
7th.
April is when you really kind of started back at it.
Yeah, it took a while because I couldn't move my arm the way I wanted to, and I had no movement. Like literally right now, those of you can see it. Like I couldn't move my arm like this. I was lucky if I could get it up part of the way, and you don't realize how that affects like your movement when you're
Yeah.
running. The constant shifting, let alone a 50K. Like what do? You got something strapped to you, like because I had that pack, the hydration pack,
Yeah. The orange
and
bud
it's just pulling you
sporting their
back.
hat right now.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Uh, this is not a paid advertisement, by the way. No.
But if Orange Bud wants to sponsor the
But
podcast, we're not going to say no.
oh, absolutely not. They're good. That's a good. Hey, that local right here, man. Like down this road from where I'm at now, Round Rock, Texas. Um, but so we started back up, and we tried to do some training together. And I was doing a lot of stuff my own. I was trying to put like a certain amount of miles in each week, and that was in April. And then May 7th was the date. And you and I, actually, you did all the driving. You drove us all the way there to Pine, Arizona. It was like, was that a 3-day? No, we left on a Friday right after class.
Yeah. We left right after class and drove 7 hours. So we go
Yeah.
sleep in the back of my truck so we could get up at 5
You
a.m. and
slept
go
in
run.
a truck. I slept in a hammock.
Yeah. You picked the hammock.
Yeah.
Much better choice. Regrets.
Yeah. Hey, so, and then, no, that night, what was crazy too, like the adventures we've been on. So that night, I hear coyotes to the left of me, the right of me, south of me, nothing to the north but cars. And I'm like, man, these things better not come up because I'm about to come up out of this sleeping sack. I had my knife with me and everything, but I kept thinking, was like, man, like how much adventure could you get? Like we come straight out of school, we go straight to the woods up there. It was 7 hours. The next morning we get up butt crack. I think it was like 5:30. We got up.
Yeah.
We start running at what 6:30, I think it was.
Ballpark when it was cold as hell. God, it was
Oh
cold.
man, it was cold, but it wasn't cold the rest of the day.
No, it
The end of the
wasn't.
day, it's whew. So we get out there and we get started, and I'm trying to find my rhythm because I had listened to some stuff that you said, hey man, you got to listen to this book. It was an audio book, and I did, and one of the key things was, okay, set your pace right off the bat. Set your pace. Don't break it. Everyone's going to seem like in a rush. And everybody took off. And I was like, I'm not taking off with them. And there's you and some other guy. There was a female and another guy. Like four of y'all were getting it. And I was like, dang, man, they're moving. And then I'm probably like 5 miles into it. And then I hear you say, you figure something out yet or something like that? Or how you doing? And I'm like, what are you doing behind me? And you got turned around
Well, no,
because
they told us to go the wrong way. So I added an extra 3 miles to my 50K. That was stupid.
yeah. but you guys were just killing it. And I'm like, how in the world? But it felt good, man. It felt good in that first, I want to say, what was that? That first stop was about 8 or 9 miles.
Something
I
like
want to
that.
say yours would
Yeah.
have been about 12 or 13.
Yeah.
And I get there and I'm like, this isn't that bad. Like it's been pretty, it's up and down, not that bad. And then I get my snacks or whatever, drink a little whatever pickle juice they had there, and then I head on. And then we get going up this hill, and then it goes from just a gradual hill to straight up.
That was so miserable.
And I'm like, what? My first ultra marathon, because you said, hey, let's get in one. It's the closest one I can find. And it's called Weber Mountain.
Yeah.
Of all names.
Still hate that name.
And I'm like, Weber Mountain, man. And if y'all want to look it up, look in Pine, Arizona, Weber Mountain. It is a beast, the trail we had to go up. I felt like I was going straight up.
I mean, it was a switchback, and it was still like straight up and down. It was almost a cliff. Like it was ridiculous.
Insane. If you fell, I truly believe this. If you fell, you fall all the way to the bottom. There's no like stopping point.
No, well, a tree or a rock. Maybe that'd be the only thing that stopped you. But yeah.
Yeah. But some of the people I met, though, man, like along the way, and actually I'm friends with them like on Strava and stuff like that. And they were telling me like one guy was a flight attendant. He's a flight attendant with Southwest, and he does these like monthly. I'm like, you do 50Ks every month? And I'm like, it's insane. The one lady that she had like this weird breathing technique. I think you remember her.
Yeah, I remember telling me about it.
Like this, like it was weird how she did it.
Like she was giving birth.
She was, yeah, but she was that was her training for Leadville 100, Leadville. I think it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I was just like, man, and then getting out there in the wilderness, and I was listening to audiobooks and just kind of enjoying it. And then I get to the top of Weber Mountain, and we start crossing, because really then it's just like you're just kind of coming over and down. You're not going up anymore. And then there was that last point where you start the massive descent. I think if you remember right, I changed it to music, man. And I'm going down the hill, and I'm passing some people, and I'm singing as I'm coming down the hill, like to the music. And people were just like, they were like, yeah, and I was like, this is kind of, it was crazy. And I thought, well, this is easy, not so bad now. But I wasn't even close to being done. Like, I think I still had just over halfway to be done. I want to say it was, where you came down, because you still had to shoot out, and then you had to zigzag a bunch.
I think after Weber Mountain, you had this is about halfway. I think you had about 12 or 15 miles ballpark left.
Probably.
Yeah, something like that. Because I think top of Weber Mountain was like 16 miles for me, which would have been 13 for you, because my extra mileage.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're about halfway.
Do you remember what the mileage was to that last aid station? I think it was like around 26, I think 25, 26 miles.
Yeah, ballpark. Yeah, somewhere in there. Because there was one of the aid stations that wasn't set up because we were there too fast. So I missed an aid station.
Yeah. Yeah, so that last one, I want to say it was around 25, 26 miles, like somewhere in there. I'd ran out of water a half a mile before I got to it. Ooh. And I was like, this is insane. Like, and I had filled up because I've been drinking a lot of water. So I finally got to it, and they had there was two ladies that I finished with that they were pretty cool too. They showed up, and they're asking the attendants, hey, do y'all got any soda or something? I'm thinking, golly, how can you drink a soda right now? Like, I couldn't eat anything. I remember listening to and I thought, how's that even real? Like, that you're out doing a workout, you're doing this thing. Well, it's not just a workout; it's an immense workout that you can't eat. And I remember that feeling too. And at the same time, that's when I was going gluten-free. Mm-hmm. So like a lot of the stuff they had at the station, I couldn't eat. I could only eat like the nuts or something like that, which were fine.
But my nutrition plan was the marshmallow plan. Remember that? I was trying to fuel myself on marshmallows. That lasted about, 2 hours. And that was over.
I couldn't eat one of those anymore either. I tried that also. It was horrible. But I get there, and they gave me a Powerade. It was I remember exactly. It was a great Powerade, and I thought, as I'm drinking it, I'm thinking, this is the best thing I've ever had in my, like, in my mind. I'm like, this is the best thing ever, you know? It was great power. It is all it was. So, but anyway, then we start traveling, and I stayed with those two ladies the rest of the way, and they were just killing it. I'm like, man. And then I started felt like my toe was starting to hurt, and I'm like, what is going on? And I didn't know until we got to the very end, but I had basically bruised my toe into my toenail, which it's still there for some reason. Here we are. It's freaking
A long
October,
time
and
later.
my
Yeah.
toe's still, yeah. But we get to the end, and there you are, man. You're recording me, cheering me on, and I'm like, this was awesome. You know, like I never thought I would do that, or did I want to do such a thing? An injury intervened, is what it did, and it said, and basically that injury was like my calling of, you may not want to do this, but you're going to do something else, and that's what I had to do. I had to find another route to make myself feel like I was where I need to be, and I'm not saying I won't do it again. I'm not saying I will do it again, but it's always an option out there. I won't do Pine Mountain
No,
or Pine
never
the
going
Weber
back.
Mountain, any of
No, Arizona can just go out of the United States for all I care because I'm not going back.
that. But it was something else, man. And I tell you, like the adventure that it brought me on, you know, because after we got done, I mean, I wasn't allowed to start lifting weights again until June. Literally, it was like right before, I want to say it was like June 1st or 2nd, I was allowed to lift weights, but it had to be real light weights. And I'm still building that right now. Like, I mean, here it is October. I'm a little over a year since the injury took place, and I'm just now building weights back up to where I want it. But in my mind, like for instance, when we met, I was on a strict CrossFit plan. That was it. Now I'm on a CrossFit plan that has a runner's focus for endurance. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's like how we find these new routes, man. That's probably like just for happiness. I think that's the best part of the journey, you know?
Yeah.
So,
I
but
think
yeah,
the
that's
perfect,
that's the story.
yeah, I think the perfect segue to that is, and, I kind of want to wrap it up because I don't want to go too long because people's attention span short. But, the perfect, I think, segue is, the book, and I'm pretty sure you probably read it. The obstacle is the way. And I think a lot
Yeah.
of people, something gets in their life and they're like that desert tortoise that, supposedly if the turtle walks up to a rock, like it's not smart enough to go around, it'll just sit there and die. And I
Yeah.
think our life, those obstacles come in the way and we can't be that tortoise. We have to, go around the obstacle. And for
Mm-hmm.
you, it was like you had a shoulder injury. So your CrossFit, love that took a back seat, and you, instead of just sitting on your couch doing nothing, you were like, I got to
Yeah.
do something else. And you know,
Yeah.
with the influence of me, probably good or bad, whichever you want to look at it, you took up running and you did something you've never done before. And
Yeah.
I know, like, I've done a lot of ultras, but it doesn't matter if it's number 1 or number 30. When you cross that finish line, knowing that you have done something that so many people have never done before,
Right.
it's almost overwhelming. You almost want to cry when you cross the finish line, not because you're weak or you're some,
Yeah.
emotional person. It's like, oh man, like, one, you're done. You're like, oh, thank God I'm done because this was terrible the last 10 miles. But it's just this overwhelming
5 miles
feeling,
out.
yeah, of accomplishment.
5 miles out, I got emotional.
Yeah. Yeah, you just can start looking at your watch like, how much longer do I got to go? So, but yeah, it's just like, when it
Yeah.
applies to, all the listeners out there, all the survivors, as I'm calling everybody, like, we all have obstacles.
Mm-hmm.
We can't let those obstacles stop us.
No.
We have to find, our destination is, we have a destination, and ideally, like, it's a straight road, but that doesn't ever happen. There's going to be, crossroads. There's going to be Y intersections. We just got to figure out the way we're going to go and get to the
Yeah.
end. And, and kind of obviously part of this podcast is because it's named the Apocalypse Gym Podcast. Kind of in the fitness world, like, you found the way past your obstacle through fitness, and it just happened to be through an ultramarathon. And I think that's kind of the point to a
Yeah.
lot of people. And, like, maybe not everybody's, going to find their way through fitness, but they just got to know that there is a way. The obstacle isn't
Yeah.
the end. The obstacle isn't the end all be all. Like, there's a way around. There's a way to get back on track. It just may take a little bit longer. So
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah,
Maybe next time I come on, we'll talk about how the both of us went from being fatty cakes to you know, losing a lot of weight because of focus on running. Because
yeah,
that's what
oh yeah,
for both of us.
yeah. That's what
You
started
know,
me. I was 225 pounds. That was not where old Justin Klein wanted to be. So, but
that's what
yeah,
I am now.
well, you're quite a bit taller than I
Yeah,
am too. So,
yeah.
but
So, but yeah,
yeah,
man, this is amazing. You know, your survivors out there that are listening, they just have to keep driving. And then you know what's remarkable too? It's finding a partner in it. Like you were a partner in it for me.
yeah,
Like that was a thing. Like no matter what, because we still did our family hikes every like weekend. We had this regiment, and sometimes you need that. Sometimes you don't, but sometimes you do. And it's
I
it's
think
just you have to know.
accountability is big no matter what. Whether you do stuff on your own, I still think there's
Mm-hmm.
some accountability, whether you post it on social media or not. Like just having that
Yeah,
accountability of knowing that people are looking for you to post something every day helps you get
yeah,
out there. Cause I know that gets me up in the morning sometimes because I'm like, man, I don't want to do this. I'm like, some of us will be like, oh, I didn't see you on social media today. I'm like, oh, I'm going to get up. I'm going to go.
yeah. Absolutely, man. So,
So
hey, thanks for having me on your show, man. I love this. This is awesome. I can't
yeah.
wait to do it again with you.
Oh,
So,
I'm sure you'll be on later. And I'll give you, well, seeing how Zoom says I only have 5 minutes left before I got to pay to upgrade. I'll give you the last word before we sign off and get going with our
yeah.
lives.
Yeah. Well, hey, really, it's just those of you who are out there that are like you're dealing with something, find something to get yourself into. If it's you can't walk, then go find something you can do with your upper body, or find something physical though, because a lot of times we find happiness because of serotonin, oxytocin, those types of drugs are released in our body from that. I've accomplished something. You know, some people it's painting. I mean, and no joke. I mean, that's a physical event. You have to hone that craft. Sometimes it's writing, sometimes it's running, but find that one thing that's going to help make you feel better, and and then just do it. Like Jocko says it. You probably I don't know how many times you talk about him, but Jocko says it. Just do those things. So again, thank you for having me on the show, man. And follow me on Instagram because I'm a friend. I'm friends with Justin.
Yeah, everything will be in the show notes. His podcast, where I killed his podcast with episode 99. And then his, obviously, you can follow, our kind of Facebook page of Merc Garage and
Yeah.
everything else. But, it's weird. I literally just answered a message to someone. I posted a reel on Facebook about one of the workouts I did today. And the guy was like, oh, man, I need to get back to where I was 3 months ago. And this applies to everybody listening out there. And this will kind of be the final sign off. And I replied back to him, was like, hey, man, that journey starts today. Don't wait for tomorrow. Don't wait for next
Yep.
week. Don't wait for things to be perfect.
Yep.
The journey starts today, whatever it is. So the
Yep.
obstacle is the way,
Absolutely.
and find your journey and get on it.
Absolutely, man.
All right,
Heck yeah.
brother. I appreciate you being on. And all the listeners out there, I say it every time, go to the gym.